The race is on, and it's Australian Grand Prix week, so it's time for our season preview. Can Lando Norris make good on title favourite status? Will Max Verstappen make it 5 in a row? Could Ferrari finally break its title drought? I'm Ed Straw, and joining me to tackle the big talking points of F1 2025 are Scott Mitchell-Malm and John Noble.
Ferrari has sent shockwaves through the Formula One paddock in Australia as Charles Leclerc dominated the Friday practice sessions at the Australian Grand Prix, putting Ferrari firmly at the top of the timesheets with a sensational pace that has even left his teammate Lewis Hamilton trailing. The Monegasque driver's stellar performance coincides with his girlfriend Alexandra Saint-Malo breaking her social media silence. But before we talk about her, let's start with Charles himself. The 27-year-old topped the FP2 session and reviewed his running during 2 sessions and said via Ferrari, "The feeling in the car was good and we had a solid first day on track. There is still some margin for improvement in terms of the balance, which is the same for everyone across the paddock, given that these cars are still pretty new to all of us and we have to push to understand their limits." There is no question about it. Ferrari means business in Melbourne, and Charles Leclerc is leading the charge. The Scuderia's pace has sent shockwaves through the paddock, with Leclerc setting a blistering 1 minute 16.439 seconds in FP2, putting him comfortably ahead of local hero Oscar Piastri in the McLaren by 0.124 seconds. This isn't just a minor improvement, it's a statement of intent from the Italian team as they look to establish their dominance in the 2025 season.
Very good. Simple as that. Just not very good at qualifying.
But you just haven't suddenly got bad. You had the
No,
idea about.
I clearly have. I can't put a lap together, and it's unbelievably frustrating. But I'll keep working at it.
What's particularly shocking is how Leclerc has outpaced his 7-time world champion teammate Lewis Hamilton, who could only manage 5th place in the same session, a full 0.420 seconds behind. The Ferrari SF25 clearly has tremendous pace, but it's Leclerc who's extracting the absolute maximum from it so far this weekend, showcasing why Ferrari put their faith in him alongside their high-profile signing. While Leclerc has been making headlines on the track, a social media interaction has captured the attention of fans worldwide. His girlfriend Alexandra Saint-Malo responded to an Instagram post from Rebecca Donaldson, the partner of Leclerc's former teammate and close friend Carlos Sainz, who now races for Williams. The interaction comes as a surprise to many fans who've been following the friendship between these F1 couples. Despite Sainz's move to Williams for the 2025 season, it seems the bond between their partners remains strong. Alexandra's comment featuring 3 laughing emojis on Rebecca's Milan Fashion Week post has garnered significant attention, accumulating over 200 likes in just an hour. Rebecca Donaldson's post showcased her collaboration with luxury brand Jimmy Choo during Milan Fashion Week, writing "Running around Milan Fashion Week in my favorite at Jimmy Choo #JimmyChoo." The post has already received nearly 28,000 likes, showing her growing influence in the fashion world alongside her connection to Formula One through Sainz. On the racing side, Leclerc's impressive performance in Australia has put Max Verstappen and Red Bull on the back foot. The reigning world champion found himself down in 7th place in FP2, a full 0.624 seconds behind Leclerc, and spent part of the session in the garage as the team worked on setup changes to his struggling RB21. McLaren has also shown strong pace, with both Piastri and Norris locking out the 2nd and 3rd positions in FP2, while the Racing Bulls duo of Tsunoda and Hajar surprised everyone by claiming 4th and 6th respectively. This unexpected shakeup in the usual pecking order adds another layer of intrigue to what is shaping up to be a highly competitive weekend. Despite his strong showing, Leclerc remains cautious about making early predictions. It's too early to come to any conclusions. We will only get a first idea of the respective pace of all the teams in qualifying. All in all, it was a good day, and we look forward to tomorrow when we want to target pole position.
The Australian Grand Prix has started, and while we're waiting for those all-important track sessions to fill in the main gaps, there's loads we've already learned here at the track on Thursday. Myself, Scott Mitchell-Malm and Ed Straw have been talking to all 20 drivers and some team bosses and trading gossip with as many people as we can within the paddock to find out what we've learned, and there's been loads. McLaren obviously coming here as the favourite, but what do they say about that, Ed? Because Lando Norris in particular was quite interesting today.
McLaren has sent shockwaves through the Formula One paddock in Australia, with home hero Oscar Piastri topping the final practice session ahead of qualifying, leaving even 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton stunned by the pace of the Woking-based squad. The Australian driver put in a blistering lap time of 1 minute 15.921 to lead the way in FP3, edging out Mercedes' George Russell and championship favorite Max Verstappen in what has become an incredibly tight battle at the top of the timesheets. There's no question about it, McLaren has shown tremendous pace in Melbourne, with Piastri showcasing exactly why the team placed their faith in him.
Oscar, great to see you. Feels like we've been waiting ages for you to make your debut, and I know we've got a little bit longer to wait, but the excitement is building. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very, very good. Excited to make my debut in F1 with McLaren. Been building up to it, and yeah, like you said, it feels like it's been a long time coming now, so super excited to get going.
The young Australian, racing in front of his home crowd, put together a near-perfect lap to outpace the competition and put McLaren firmly in contention for pole position. The gap to Russell was marginal, and with less than a tenth separating the top 3 drivers, we're set for a thrilling qualifying session later today. What makes Piastri's performance even more impressive is that he's managed to outpace his more experienced teammate Lando Norris, who could only manage 10th after backing out of what looked to be a promising final flying lap. The McLaren package appears to be working exceptionally well around the Albert Park circuit, with their recent upgrades clearly paying dividends in these warmer conditions. For Lewis Hamilton, who sits 8th on the timesheet, the McLaren performance must be particularly difficult to watch. The 7-time world champion, now in Ferrari red, made an error entering turn 1 on his final flying lap, preventing him from improving his position. His teammate Charles Leclerc fared better, securing the 4th fastest time, but even he couldn't match the pace of Piastri's McLaren. Mercedes has also shown strong form, with both Russell in 2nd and rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli impressively slotting into 5th position. For a driver who many questioned was promoted too quickly to F1, Antonelli is certainly proving his worth in the early stages of his Formula One career. Russell, meanwhile, continues to show why Mercedes put their faith in him as the team's leader following Hamilton's departure. Williams has been another surprise package in Melbourne, with Carlos Sainz and Alexander Albon claiming 6th and 7th respectively. The Grove-based team has clearly made significant strides forward with their 2025 challenger, and they could be dark horses for a strong points finish or even a podium if conditions become mixed during Sunday's race, which forecasts suggest could be hit by rain. Red Bull's Max Verstappen will be concerned by McLaren's pace, especially after reporting the RB21 was getting a bit loose during his runs. The Dutchman, who has dominated the sport in recent years, might find himself in a genuine battle for pole position for the first time in a while. His teammate Liam Lawson had an even tougher session, with Red Bull confirming a power unit or power unit system problem on the airside that kept him garage-bound for much of the practice. Haas rookie Oliver Behrman endured yet another session to forget, spinning into the gravel at turn 11 just minutes into FP3. After his heavy crash in FP1 that forced him to miss the 2nd practice session, this latest incident has given the American team's mechanics yet more work ahead of qualifying. With only 4.5 tenths covering the top 8 drivers, we're heading into one of the most closely contested qualifying sessions in recent memory. McLaren's stunning pace has set up a fascinating battle for pole position, and the question now is whether Piastri can convert his practice form when it really counts. What do you think about McLaren's impressive form in Australia? Can Piastri secure pole position at his home race? Or will Verstappen and Red Bull find something extra when it matters most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Formula One news and updates throughout the race weekend. Formula One has roared back to life, with all eyes focused on Albert Park for what promises to be an explosive season opener in Melbourne. After dominant preseason testing, McLaren has emerged as the surprise favorites, leaving rivals scrambling and fans wondering, has the balance of power shifted completely in F1? The paddock is buzzing with speculation as teams prepare for the first true test of 2025. The stunning revelation came straight from 3-time world champion Max Verstappen himself, who shocked journalists when he admitted Red Bull might be playing catch-up. Looking at the lap times, McLaren is clearly the favorite, Verstappen conceded in his pre-race press conference. We have some ideas for improvement, but right now, one team is clearly ahead. This unprecedented admission from the usually confident Dutchman has sent ripples through the paddock and raised serious questions about Red Bull's preparation. Behind closed doors at McLaren, however, a potential storm is brewing. Oscar Piastri returns to his home race with renewed confidence and championship ambitions, publicly declaring his belief that he can become world champion this year. Everyone starts on 0 points again, the Australian stated firmly. I helped Lando occasionally last year, but this season is different. I absolutely believe I can fight for the title. This bold claim sets the stage for what could become a tense teammate rivalry between Piastri and Norris, especially if McLaren's pace advantage proves genuine. Meanwhile, all eyes will be on Lewis Hamilton as he makes his historic Ferrari debut after 12 seasons at Mercedes. The 7-time champion faces the enormous challenge of adapting to an entirely new environment, but early signs suggest the transition might be smoother than expected. Reports from the Ferrari garage indicate the SF25 has responded well to Hamilton's driving style, though tire degradation concerns from Bahrain testing haven't completely disappeared. Ferrari team principal Frederic Vasseur has been careful to manage expectations ahead of the season opener. Melbourne is a unique circuit with very specific characteristics, Vasseur explained. The temperature differences between races will be dramatic. Hot in Australia, much cooler in China and Japan. We can't judge the championship picture from just one weekend. This measured approach hints at Ferrari's cautious optimism despite their star signing. Adding another fascinating dimension to Sunday's race is the weather forecast, which shows a high probability of rain, potentially as much as 90%. This could completely scramble the competitive order and play into the hands of wet weather specialists like Hamilton and Verstappen. For rookies and less experienced drivers, however, it presents a daunting challenge on an already demanding street circuit. The anticipated wet conditions might also provide Red Bull with an opportunity to minimize the damage from their apparent performance deficit. Verstappen's remarkable ability to extract performance in changeable conditions could prove crucial if the team finds themselves genuinely behind on raw pace. His teammate Lawson, however, faces a baptism of fire in what would be extremely difficult circumstances for a driver with limited F1 experience. Beyond the headline battles, the midfield contest promises to be equally fierce. Williams arrives with arguably the strongest driver lineup among the midfield teams, but continues to deal with the aftermath of resource allocation issues from 2024. Team representatives have acknowledged they'll rely heavily on driver feedback to maximize their package, particularly in these early races. The 2025 season launch represents a pivotal moment for Formula One, with potentially the most significant competitive shift in years. McLaren's apparent advantage challenges the established order, while Hamilton's Ferrari move creates a fascinating subplot that will develop throughout the season. The first qualifying session on Saturday will finally reveal the true competitive picture after months of speculation.
Excuse us, thank you. Oh, sorry.
Lewis Hamilton has left the entire paddock speechless with his mindset heading into his Ferrari debut, confirming exactly what rival drivers feared most. The 7-time world champion feels absolutely zero outside pressure. Despite concerns about adapting to a new team at 40 years old, Hamilton has arrived in Melbourne with a dangerous combination of confidence, experience, and pure excitement that has sent shockwaves through the grid. The question now isn't whether Hamilton can handle the pressure of Ferrari, it's whether anyone can handle the pressure of racing against a liberated Lewis Hamilton. After 12 seasons with Mercedes that ended with 3 frustrating years in an underperforming car, many wondered if Hamilton's move to Ferrari would bring overwhelming pressure and expectations. But the Briton has flipped the script entirely, declaring that external pressure is non-existent for him ahead of this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. This mental fortitude is precisely what competitors hoped they wouldn't see from a rejuvenated Hamilton in the famous red car. I'm under no assumptions that it will be easy. It is not.
It's been a long winter, but it's also been very short. But I'm really grateful we had good testing last week. I can't believe the race is already next week, so I already start to make my venture to Australia on Friday. So that's when it really starts to it will start to sink in a little bit as the weekend kind of arrives, this weekend before. And no, but I feel excited. I feel I feel we're as best prepared as we could be given the short space of time that I've had. There's still things to learn, but I'm just excited to get going. I love racing.
Hamilton acknowledged when speaking to media in Melbourne, but I don't feel the pressure. The outside pressure, it's non-existent for me. The pressure is from within and what I want to achieve. These aren't the words of a driver feeling the weight of Ferrari's championship drought. They're the words of a champion who knows exactly what he's capable of delivering. What's particularly alarming for rivals is Hamilton's clear sense of purpose and belonging at Ferrari. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I don't feel I have to do anything, he stated with the confidence that comes from having nothing left to prove in the sport. I've been in F1 a long time and done it time and time again. I know what it takes to do a good job, and that's what I want to deliver for myself and for my family, for this team that I really believe deserves success. Ferrari hasn't won a driver's championship since 2007 or a constructor's title since 2008, but they finished second in the constructor's standings last season and ended 2024 with one of the most competitive cars on the grid. With Hamilton now at the wheel alongside Charles Leclerc, the Scuderia has assembled a driver lineup that rivals will be losing sleep over. The transformation in Hamilton is palpable. After struggling with a difficult Mercedes for 3 seasons, he arrived in Melbourne visibly energized and motivated. "I'm itching to get going," he said, his enthusiasm unmistakable. "This is the most exciting period of my life, and so I'm really just enjoying it. I'm so excited to get in the car tomorrow." Perhaps most intimidating for competitors is Hamilton's emotional and psychological evolution since his F1 debut at this very track in 2007. The contrast between the 22-year-old rookie who drowned many times and today's self-assured champion couldn't be more stark. Now, obviously, I'm very comfortable in my skin. I know who I am, I know where I'm going, I know what energy and time and effort I need to put in to get there, Hamilton reflected. This level of self-knowledge combined with his unparalleled experience makes Hamilton more dangerous than ever. He's not only technically brilliant, but mentally bulletproof. The exact combination that drivers like Verstappen and Norris desperately hoped they wouldn't have to contend with in a competitive Ferrari.